while I still wait for this to load in, I'm going to be doing one of my first, I guess, formally informal Dear Kage sessions. So I had somebody reach out to me the other day, and they were talking about um, the relationship that they were currently in. Not saying that the relationship wasn't going well in terms of the people involved. It was just that sometimes when you are with someone physically, you're not always with them emotionally or spiritually or even mentally sometimes. Sometimes being with somebody just sitting in the same room can be somewhat lonely for some people. So this person says that right now they're kind of in a place where they know that this other person isn't necessarily good for them. Not saying that the other person is not a good person. We're not saying that at all. But sometimes we can be around people, and those people, although they mean well, they may not be the best person for us. That being said, if you can identify that the person or persons that you're surrounding yourself with aren't necessarily good for you, like good for your spiritual health, for your mental health, for your physical health, like if the people that you're spending time with, you're recognizing that they may not be the type of person that you should be around all the time, that just goes to show that you as an individual are really good at recognizing those things. And when you can recognize when somebody may not be the best for you, depending on whichever aspect of your life that they're in, if you're recognizing that these people may not be good for you or a good fit for you at this moment in your life, and again, not saying that these people aren't good people, but if you feel that they're not a good fit, it may be time to take a step back. It may be time to take and to reevaluate what you feel that relationship should be. Sometimes, especially when life gets a little chaotic, sometimes when life gets very busy, we can oftentimes feel that we want to be in a relationship, but not necessarily be in the right state of mind to work on that relationship. If you're not willing to work on the relationship at the current time, because of everything going on in your life or everything that the other person has going on in their life, there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a step back and saying, oh, this isn't good for either of us, and we need to really look at what it is we're bringing to the table. So if you're not both fully invested in the relationship, then maybe it is time to take a break, take a step back, reevaluate things, work on yourselves as individuals. Because if you as an individual are not comfortable with the current situation, it's not fair to anybody involved. If you're not comfortable with your own way of living currently, if you're doing things that maybe you're trying to reevaluate things in your life and you're trying to make changes and make plans and do different things in your own life, then you're not going to be able to do some of the things that the other person might need for you to do in order for them to feel comfortable in the relationship. People say a relationship is 50-50, and that's absolutely not the case. A relationship should never be 50-50. A relationship should always be 100-100. You should be able to give your full self to the other person in terms of effort into the relationship. It was a very interesting a sermon a couple weeks ago at our church, and our pastor was talking about love not being the fluffy emotion you see on TV, and it's not. You can get the butterflies, you can get all of those, the goosebumps and all that stuff early on, but realistically, love is a choice, and what you choose to do is ultimately going to shape the relationship that you're currently in or the relationships that you're going to go into. This person goes on to say that they need to be there for themselves and currently only for themselves, trying to find a balance between being friends with this individual is difficult, because if you're going into something thinking, okay, we're going into this and we're going to be in a relationship, but at the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, maybe a relationship isn't the best fit for either of us at this time. There's nothing wrong with taking that step back and being honest with yourself and honest with the other person, because you need to both be comfortable and both be willing to work on the things that need to be worked on in order for the relationship to progress. And ultimately, if you're looking at what you need to do for yourself in order to be able to give your all in the relationship, is also really important. You need to be able to work on yourself as well as allowing the other person time to work on themselves. And again, this is not stuff that, you know, is the be all end all of everything. Like, I'm not telling you things that you don't already know. The interesting thing about some of this is that there's a lot of this stuff that people ask me, or people have come to me and said, hey, I need help with this, or can you give me some advice on this? It's a lot of stuff that the advice I give them is advice that they themselves already know. It's things that people have said to them before, or it's even things that they already know and they want to move and take forward. So there's nothing new in some of the advice that I'm giving to this person, because a lot of what they're asking, they already know. Like, they have said in their correspondence, we'll say, with me, that they're not currently in a situation where they can devote all of the time and effort into this relationship that maybe it deserves. And if that's the case, how are you going to move forward with this person if you're already thinking and feeling that there are things in this relationship that may not work? A relationship is always going to be a lot of work, as is creating content with a program or programs that are continually crashing. So I don't really know exactly what is going on with my software and my gear and all of this, but again, updates abound. Things are being worked on. I have no audio, so that's another issue with.
You're up, soldier. Now go sort this fucker out. Got your ass kicked in that one.
So yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but that's neither here nor there. The idea is that if you're at a point in a relationship where you feel you need to work on yourself before being able to devote time and effort into what the other person needs, then you're absolutely right. Like, if you are saying that, oh, I can't really put everything into this relationship right now because I really need to work on myself. I need to work on the things in my life that need my attention, maybe more so than a relationship. So that's kind of where you have to look at your current situation. I'm trying to find the rest of the correspondence. That you need to take time for yourself, because if you can't be happy, or if you can't look at the things that you are currently doing in that relationship or in that situation, if you can't take time for yourself to look at what it is you're doing, then ultimately you're not going to be in the right place to be able to devote the proper amount of time and effort into your current situation. And I know I'm doing this all while trying to move things around here. But the idea is that you need to be willing to look at everything that's going on. You need to be willing to look at, I'm just trying to change some settings here. You need to be willing to look at everything, not just at the other person, but you also have to be looking at yourself. You need to be saying, okay, is this really the right fit for me and for what I need right now? Is this the kind of thing that I need right now in order to function? Is this what I need right now in order to be my best? And then looking at that type of thing is really going to ultimately push you towards where you really need to be and where you really should be. I honestly believe that this individual was making the right choice in saying that, okay, we need to take a step back because right now what we're doing isn't working for either of us. And if that is the case, then absolutely take that step back. I'm just reading through the rest of it. They talk about having some issues with prioritizing parts of their day. One thing you need to do is you do need to find time for yourself. You need to find time to do the things that bring you joy and bring you not necessarily just entertainment, but just bring you to a good place mentally, spiritually. All of that needs to be there. All of those pieces need to fit. You're not always going to find time every day to do all of the things that you want to get done, much less find time during your day to find the things and find the time to get done what you want to get done. It happens. It is an issue sometimes that you are going to struggle with certain things in certain areas of your life. You are going to struggle with prioritizing things and choosing one thing or one group over another. But the idea is it's all there. Like the fact that you're coming to me and saying, I know that this isn't a good fit and I know these are the things that I should be focusing on. What do I do? Absolutely. Do what you are telling me you should do. Focus on yourself. Focus on what it is that you need to be doing for you first before you get into that situation with another person. If you're not okay with yourself, if you're not willing to look at what you need to work on, it's going to be a little trickier to work on because you're going to be pulled in so many different directions. That idea of focusing on yourself first and understanding what you need. For some people, they're like, well, I feel selfish doing this. And I've been there. I was like, well, I don't want to do things for me because I'm taking away from other people. I'm taking away from the other things I should be doing. And that's a mindset that we need to get out of because you need to be willing to work on yourself so that you can become a better version of yourself. So that when it comes time to putting yourself into another relationship or another job or another field or school or whatever, that you're going to be properly prepared, mentally, spiritually, and all that to give your best self in whatever area it is that you are currently going in. I'm still dealing with some lag issues here, so the video is cutting in. I do absolutely do all that. I am still trying to figure something out. But that's what I want you to understand in this video. But it is for anybody involved in this kind of situation. You need to figure out what you need to do so that you are happy with you. You need to figure out what you need to do so that you can focus on you as an individual, then focus on the things that need to be done, whether that's your career, whether that's school, whether that's family responsibilities, whatever it is. You need to be willing to take a step back from all the external stuff and start to look at, okay, this is what I need to work on. These are the people that need me right now. And if these people need me, they need me at my best. You're not always going to be able to give your best to everybody. So finding a way to prioritize that is going to be key. But, and I'm going to say this probably at the end of every video, for me, a lot of my purpose, a lot of my struggles, a lot of my anxieties, like think positive and both negative things. There's a lot of things in my life that have come to light in the last 8 months after dealing with my health issues and things like that. But when I started to actually look at every aspect of myself and of my life, and started to really focus in on the parts of my life that needed more attention, things started to get better. So instead of always stressing about everything, I started to work on parts of myself that I felt needed more attention. Like right now, my spiritual health was not in a good place over the last few years. That's something that in the last 8 months that I have worked a lot on, is my spiritual health. And then from there, my mental health has started to make improvements. My mental health perfect? Absolutely not. Like I said, most of you know watching this that I'm on stress leave right now from my job. But doing this is a way for me to help deal with my stress and my mental health. But doing a lot of this stuff, like, spending a lot of time doing computer stuff, filming videos, things like that, my physical health has started to take a bit of a decline. So not in terms of there's no more diagnosis, or there's none of that stuff coming back. I'm free and clear of all those diagnoses. But just needing to eat more healthy, to be more active. Now it's a beautiful snowy day right now, and my hope is that some of the snow will stay, and tomorrow I'll be able to get out and hang out with the kids out in the snow, and hopefully the days are going to get a little brighter at the end of the day. After December, when the sun stays out a bit longer. So I've got a lot of work to do in certain areas of my life, just like everybody does. But recognizing where you need to put effort in whatever area of your life needs attention, and not avoiding it, is going to take you really, really far. Because if you're not willing to work on the things that need work, and you're just ignoring it, nothing's going to change. Like if your mental health needs work and you're not willing to work on it, it's not going to get better. If your physical health needs work and you're ignoring it, it's not going to get better. If your spiritual health isn't in a good place and you're not willing to work on it, it's not going to get better. Like every aspect of your life, you need to be willing to focus on all of the parts of yourself first, so that when people do need you, and people are always going to need you and rely on you and want you around, you are giving them your absolute best. So I know that was a bit of a ramble, that was kind of on and off topic and dealing with computer issues and stuff like that in the background. But the idea is that, the person sending me that bit of information, already some of the things that you need to do. You've been through a lot. We've known each other for a very, very long time. And the fact that you can recognize some of the things that you need to work on, that's key. The fact that you already know that you need to look after yourself first. You need to be doing the things for you so that you can give your best to this other person, so that you can give your best to your job, your family, your career, your relationships, and all of this. You need to be willing to make sure that you can acknowledge it, you can give yourself direction, and you're getting validation from other people. That's what this Dear Kage segments are going to be about. It's the fact that a lot of people are going to come to me asking for advice, but already knowing what it is they need to do. I'm just here as a sounding board to help you better understand the choices that you need to make, and helping you along the way in case there are any other things that you need support with. And by all means, and hey, don't get me wrong, if I'm giving wrong advice, you call me out on it. But if you're giving yourself wrong advice, just understand I'm going to call you out on it too. So until next time, look after yourself. Make sure you're doing the things that you need to do in order for you to be the best version of yourself. And we will talk soon.